Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Will Manchester United win anything under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Now, I think we will. There's 3 trophies that we can pursue this season. We can win the Premier League, because we are still in the title race. We can also win the FA Cup, we're into the 5th round of that. And we can also win the Europa League. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager, because we haven't won a trophy now for like 4 years. A lot of Manchester United fans were disregarding the title after our 2-1 loss to Sheffield United and the 0-0 draw with Arsenal. But I think reflecting on the 9-0 win against Southampton, a lot of our fans' perceptions changed. We will win another title at some point, if it isn't this season. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. But I am certainly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. I think he's going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his 2nd full season at the moment. Solskjaer has been criticised a lot as Manchester United manager, especially earlier on in the season, reflecting how inconsistent we was. And like I've said on my other videos, I think we do deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer, because he could have easily have been sacked as Manchester United manager. But I do think that Solskjaer has made very, very good progress in the last year or so. Performances have improved. Players are improving. We've been very, very good away from home. Reflect on the 0-0 draw with Arsenal. We set a new club record. We are unbeaten in our last 18 Premier League away games. We was unbeaten in 13 Premier League games until Sheffield United had beaten us. And I still think there's a few things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to do at the football club, like I've already gone through with you. I think he's got to identify his best 11. I think he's got to give Donny van der Beek more chances. And he's also got to get his selections right persistently. He has showed tactical flexibility in a lot of games, but there's also been a lot of games when he has been tactically naive. Reflecting how long Solskjaer's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he came to us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. And his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. I think he made around 19 signings when he was Cardiff manager. Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager now for over 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. Came in as the interim manager, didn't he, at the first? Obviously, he was the interim manager for 3 months. And he did very, very well as interim manager, so that's the main explanation why we're giving the job permanently back in March 2019. Solskjaer's got 18 months left on his current contract. As far as I'm aware at the moment, there has been no discussions over him getting a new contract. But with what I've seen in recent months, I've been impressed, and I've been saying, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been in the old Man United back. We have been getting glimpses of the Sir Alex Ferguson era, because we've come from behind in a lot of games this season, and we did that a lot under Ferguson. Alex Ferguson, endured 27 years with us, won a lot of trophies, including 13 Premier League titles, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. And like I've said to you, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at Manchester United, or no manager in general is going to replicate what he did. But it's good that we are finally seeing consistency, because, we didn't see consistency for a long time. Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. Obviously, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson, and that was David Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. He endured the shortest tenure at the club. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. That's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. I already given you the reasons why it didn't work out under Mourinho, because Mourinho had bad disputes with the board, he had bad disputes with the top players, and basically the board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend in. And we have made mistakes since Ferguson left, and that's one of the main explanations why, we were so inconsistent for so long. We spent a lot of money since Ferguson left. We've spent over £1 billion on players, and we've brought around 37 players in, is it, since Ferguson retired. Got to credit Solskjaer. He's got us to the 5th round of the FA Cup. Earlier on this season, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season. He guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League, and also got us 3rd, the second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. The January transfer window was a disappointing transfer window for us, because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. We got Amad Diallo Traore in a deal worth £37 million. With add-ons included, we paid £19 million up front. But the deal was actually agreed for Amad Diallo Traore last October. Now, it won't be too long now until we see him in the first team squad. Solskjaer's actually said that Amad Diallo Traore could make his debut against Everton on Saturday night. Amad Diallo Traore recently made his debut for the under-23s, and he scored twice. We beat Liverpool 6-3. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager, and 5 transfer windows in total. But Solskjaer did say, didn't he, quite a few times during the January transfer window that, he wasn't expecting any signings. But he did say, more fringe players could leave, and they did. More fringe players did leave the club in the January transfer window. We obviously saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. Lingard made his debut for West Ham recently and scored twice in their 3-1 win against Aston Villa. You know, to be honest with you, I think West Ham could end up getting him permanently. We also let Facundo Palestri go out on loan. Marcus Rojo obviously left the club to join Boca Juniors. Marcus Rojo endured 6.5 years with us. We also let Timothy Fosu-Mensah go. He went to Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, in the January transfer window, Odi Nagalo said his farewells to Manchester United. And obviously in the other transfer windows, Solskjaer's endured. Obviously we've seen other players leave as well. You know, we've seen, Young leave the club, seen Valencia leave the club, seen Darmian leave the club, seen Smalling leave the club, seen Fellaini leave the club back in January 2019. Seen Herrera leave the club, seen Lukaku leave the club, seen Sanchez leave the club, seen Angel Gomez leave the club. Like I said, we've loaned quite a few players out. We loaned Dalot out. I think we're looking to get rid of Dalot permanently. We also loaned Andres Pereira out. I think we're also looking to get rid of him permanently. James Garner got loaned out. Tegan Menge got loaned out. Didn't we also loan Dylan Levitt out as well? I think we loaned Joe Pereira out again for another season. So to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's credit, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood. But I think we do need more signings. And I've already given you the 3 areas where I think Manchester United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a world-class midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Yeah, in the summer, I'm expecting us to make some signings. I think we could make around 2, 3, maybe even 4 signings in the summer. During the January transfer window, we was focusing a lot more on the outgoings rather than the incomings. But yeah, hopefully Woodward will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. Because I don't think Solskjaer's been backed enough by the board so far. And Woodward has come out several times to show his support for Ole. And, Woodward has promised he will back him. Woodward said towards the end of last year he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. But the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, and that's why a lot of our fans have been critical of the board. But you've had Woodward at Man United since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. But yeah, there has been a lot of players on our agenda. I recently gave you the news, didn't I, on Jadon Sancho. Bild have recently said that Borussia Dortmund have reduced their asking price for Sancho to £88 million. Sport 1 recently said that Borussia Dortmund were relying on Jadon Sancho's sale because it said Dortmund are going to be forced to lower their demands. Dortmund are actually expecting Sancho to leave in the summer transfer window, but recently it said we ended our interest in him. I think because of Amad Diallo Traore's form. Don't forget earlier on this season, Jadon Sancho made an admission saying that, he has enjoyed a difficult season at Dortmund, but he said he was happy to be back among the goals. Borussia Dortmund's CEO came out earlier on this season and, explained why he's been struggling because he was expected to join us last summer. Last summer, Jadon Sancho was our number 1 priority target. But Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million and we was not willing to meet that valuation. So the actual fee was a stumbling block, but he did say a few times that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed and even a contract had been agreed. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. But obviously we missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Analysing the vast majority of Sancho's career though at Dortmund, he's been very consistent. This is his 4th season at Dortmund. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017, and Sancho's got a contract with Dortmund until 2023. And don't forget, we was willing to offer him that number 7 shirt. It recently said that if we fail to sign Sancho again, we will make an attempt to sign Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. Now, the last time I read up about Ousmane Dembele, it said that he wants to now stay at Barcelona and he's open to a new deal. Now, it said a few weeks ago that us and Chelsea were monitoring Ousmane Dembele's contract situation. My element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he is injury prone. He's sustained a few injuries at Barcelona. He's been at Barcelona now quite a few years. He's under contract with them till 2022. Barcelona got him in a deal worth £135 million from Dortmund back in 2017. Barca paid like £90 million up front. It recently said that we have identified our 2 top targets for the summer, and that is Jules Koundé from Sevilla and Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Jules Koundé's performances for Sevilla this season have been outstanding. He is a defender. He's only the age of 22, so he has got a lot of development in him. Sevilla rate him at around £60 million. He's got a contract with Sevilla till 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux around 18 months ago. So would you take him at Man United? And as for Erling Haaland, Ole Gunnar Solkjaer would love to sign Erling Haaland. Back in 2019, we wanted to sign Erling Haaland because don't forget, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Manchester United. And Solskjaer knows the player well because Solskjaer was the one that gave him his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. Haaland has been at Dortmund over the year. Borussia Dortmund paid £17 million for him. He's under contract with Dortmund till 2024. I'm expecting Haaland to leave next year when his £68 million release clause becomes active. There's still a chance Declan Rice will come to Man United in the summer. Do you think there could be a swap deal between Lingard and Declan Rice? I'd certainly take that swap deal. You know, Declan Rice is a very, very good player. You know, Declan Rice is well proven in the Premier League. He's only young. He's got a lot of development in him. You know, he breaks up the play well. He's predominantly a holding midfielder. You know, he's been at West Ham for several years and he has become an integral part of their team. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024. There's also an option to extend his contract for a further 12 months. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years. Earlier on this season, it was stemming from ESPN saying that we were set to rival Chelsea for Declan Rice. Chelsea are no longer in for him now, I don't think, because obviously they sacked Lampard the other week. But Lampard was infuriated when he missed out on him because it was his top target. It actually says West Ham are considering lowering their asking price to £50 million for Declan Rice, but they initially value him at around £80 million, and Liverpool have also been in for him. I do think that more players will leave Man United in the summer. You know, Paul Pogba, he could still leave the club in the summer. But there again, he could stay at Manchester United potentially past the summer. Now, I'll give you the news on Paul Pogba recently. Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias Pogba, said we will lose Paul Pogba for nothing in 2022. So he said that we need to sell Paul Pogba this summer if we are to get the money. And his brother also said that Paul Pogba's got no intentions of signing a new contract at Man United. You know, Fabrizio Romano recently said that Paul Pogba's transfer away from Man United is still on the cards, because he mentioned that Mino Raiola has been planning a move for Paul Pogba next summer. You know, he has had a long-running transfer saga. In recent weeks, he's been linked with a move to PSG. I think a few weeks ago, Mino Raiola was talking with PSG, and it said Pochettino identified Paul Pogba as his top target. There's obviously been narratives of him possibly going back to Juventus. By the way, Fabrizio Romano revealed the 4 players that Juventus offered us to try and sign Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba enjoyed 4 good years with Juventus, but it says Juventus are still keen to re-sign him this summer, and he's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. Now, he said a few weeks ago, we revealed our asking price. We want £75 million. But a few weeks ago, it said that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club. That means staying at Man United. His future is on hold until the end of the season. You know, at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. You know, I think this is his 5th season at the club since he rejoined. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Mino Raiola, Pogba's agent, made an announcement back in December saying that his client's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. And obviously Solkjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. When Paul Pogba's played recently though, he's played in more of an advanced role a few times. It actually recently said, like I updated you, that we actually will let around 8 players leave this summer to complete our squad overhaul. I think Juan Mata could leave in the summer because Juan Mata doesn't play a lot now, but he's played a few games this season. I think Juan Mata's current contract expires in June. And the last time I read up about it, Solskjaer made an admission saying that there is uncertainty over Juan Mata's future. And he said that Juan Mata was closing in on an exit. Earlier on this season, Juan Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. He's had a good career at Man United. He's been here now over 6 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. We got Juan Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. I also think Matic could possibly leave in the summer as well because Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders. But he still gets his chances, does Nemanja Matic, and sometimes he can put some good performances out. But he's also had bad games as a Man United player. My reservation about Matic is that he is a slow player. Always been a slow player. You know, Matic has been at the club now over 3 years. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Didn't we? And you know, Phil Jones, you know, he's another one. I'm surprised we didn't let Phil Jones go in January, but you know, we're going to give him a second chance. Phil Jones, by the way, is part of the Europa League squad for the game against Real Sociedad. Jones has been out of injury for like 12 months. Hasn't he? Donny van der Beek, he needs to get more chances at Manchester United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did make an admission prior to the game against Liverpool saying that, you know, Van der Beek's unhappy at Man United, but he's promised him more game time at the club. You know, if he's still not getting enough game time until the summer, then I think Donny van der Beek may consider leaving the football club. Now, during the January transfer window, we rejected several loan offers for Donny van der Beek, who was basically blocking him from leaving on loan. When Donny van der Beek plays, though, he is good. You know, he can play in like 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder. That was his predominant position at Ajax. You can also put him as a number 10. That's where we started him against Liverpool. And you can also put him out wide. We got him in a deal worth £40 million, you know, paid £35 million up front, and there was £5 million in add-ons, and Van der Beek's got a contract with the club until 2025. So there you go, and you do know the news on Bruno Fernandes. Man United are 3 months in contract talks with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025, because when we got him, he signed a 5-year deal, but there's also an option of a further year. Bruno Fernandes is our best player, and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. It recently said that Bruno Fernandes is planning on spending many years at Manchester United after his 12-month anniversary. He won Player of the Month for December, but he's won that now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. And he denies that he needs a rest. You know, Bruno Fernandes wants to help the club win trophies. You know, in most of his games at Man United, he has been very, very consistent. There has been a few games where he has looked off the pace, Bruno Fernandes. We paid £47 million for him initially, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over £67 million, and he predominantly plays as a number 10. You know the news on Cavani, don't you? He sustained an ankle injury in our 9-0 win against Southampton. This is obviously why Solskjaer taking him off at half-time. Hopefully the ankle injury is not too severe, because I think Edinson Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. But yeah, big game on Saturday night against Everton. Like I said on the preview earlier on today, we're going into that game full of confidence, because we recently beat Southampton 9-0, and you know, reflects on that, we are record breakers. First time we'd scored 9 goals since the 9-0 win against Ipswich back in 1995, which was 26 years ago. And Solskjaer said we showed the X factor in that game. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.